Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now listen to me, something that I'm studying right now. Y'all gotta forget the air blowing in the phone, but getting ready to do a Zoom interview. Now this Zoom interview I'm doing is with one of my business partners. If you're in the Blessed Tribe, you'll get to see it. And this is one of the businesses that I'm a part of where, you know, tax preparation and things like that, filing taxes and all of that. So if you're in the Blessed Tribe, we'll be able to help you out with that come next season. And so stay tuned. You'll see the interview posted probably later today or tomorrow, and you can go ahead and get on the calendar. But I want to talk to you about this emotional regulation. This is something that I study personally just because it's also would be known as emotional intelligence, but I just been calling it emotional regulation. Just regulating, you know, those feelings, those emotions. And one thing I noticed even in coaching is a lot of people dealing with stress and anxiety and worry and just the highs and lows, and us not being able to really talk to ourselves and talk ourselves off of a ledge. So it's something that I've been thinking about really because I had a lot of head trauma growing up playing football. So I played football from the age of 7 on into my adult years to the age of 21. And I think I only had 1 year off in that time span. And I was a running back. And I didn't get hit a whole lot coming up because, you know, you run the ball away from people. But in practice, we would just bash heads, bull in the ring, what we call it. And we just bashing heads. And every day as a kid, you know, after bull in the ring, I'm going home with a headache. So I know that's just not good for your brain. And then in college, when I was on the scout team, my red shirt freshman year, my first year, I red shirted, which essentially means you just don't lose a year of eligibility, but you practice every day, you just don't play. So I was a running back, and I was as good as our starting running back who was already there as a senior. He just was much bigger than me. So they had me on the scout team getting the first team defense ready. And we would do goal line where you just got like 10 yards to get in. And it's really tight. It's really intense. And I was 160 pounds. And the linebackers, 2 of them was 260 pounds. So it was 100 pounds more than me. And it was real strong. And whenever they would get a hold of me, they would just crash into my head. Sometimes the DN would come down and catch me, crash into the side of my head. And so it was like the linebackers or the DN, every now and then they would get me. And they probably would get me 3, 4, 5 times of practice out of the 50 reps that we did. And when they get me, they would hit me hard because I would score like 4 touchdowns in a row. And every touchdown I score, they get cursed out. They get belittled. They get talked to like trash. So when they finally get me, they was getting me. So that changes your brain chemistry, obviously. You getting hit in the head so much. And it can make you a little unhinged at times. And this is one of the things why, you know, I have weapons, but I try not to be too close to them or do too much with them, because when you had a lot of brain trauma, you can't always trust yourself in heat of the moment situations. And that's why I tell y'all why I don't like speaking names, because in my heart of hearts, I feel like I would kill a man by my name. So out of respect, I try not to speak other men's name in a disrespectful manner. Like, if truth is truth, if I'm telling the truth, if I'm reporting something that happened, that's one thing, but I try not to be disrespectful if at all possible. And so one of the things that I've been doing is I've been in my head, and this is something I want to share with you, is you got to come up with you a phrase. And we're going to talk about some of this stuff in the Growth Club next year. If you're not in the Growth Club, you could join it today. Use the coupon code BLESSED. You'll see it, 2024 Growth Club. You'll get 50% off, and it's a group coaching program. And we go a little more in depth on our calls on this type of stuff, but it's just a little quick overview how much time I got. We got about 5 more minutes. one of the keys that you want to use is a phrase. You got to come up with your phrase. Now, your phrase could be, I'm worthy. Your phrase could be, it's okay. Your phrase could be, and now listen, this stuff could be out there somewhere in some type of psychology, some type of therapy, something. That's not where I got it from. I made it up for myself. This is something that I do. I've never had a therapist. I've never worked with a therapist. So this is just something that I'm pulling from real life experience. But it could be out there in the world somewhere already. So I know when you hear it, sometimes people be like, oh, that's such and such. I don't know what such and such is. This is what I'm making up from my life. So you create a word, a phrase, and that phrase is your go-to. And what this phrase is to do, this phrase is to invert your negative thinking. So as a married man, if my brain is not clicking right, my brain may say, what if your wife cheating on you? Your wife might be cheating on you. Your wife might be texting another man. And that may come from social media. So many people talking about women cheat just as much as men, and women cheat on men with money because they not happy because men with money got an ego. It could come from anywhere. But if I was to hear that thought, then I have to create me a phrase. My phrase is, I'm making one up right now as I'm thinking about this. It'll be, it is what it is. Or my phrase may be, if I catch her, I'm not going to snoop, but if I catch her, I'm gone. My phrase may be, I'm giving everything I can, and I know she ain't that crazy. I know she ain't crazy enough to do that. Or my phrase may be, get your act together. If that's what you're worried about, get your act together so that you have nothing to blame on you. Whatever it is, it's like your little moment of truth. It's your moment of reality. It's your moment of personalized coaching, to where you are your life coach before talking to your life coach or your therapist, because you are with you 24 hours a day. Your therapist is with you 1 hour a week. Your life coach is with you 1 hour a week, unless you got another special program. But you are with you 24 hours a day. I believe that's 168 hours a week. And you have to be able to talk yourself off the ledge. You got to be able to take a beat. Take a beat. What I mean by take a beat is, in behavioral science, now I learned this from behavioral science, is cool down techniques. That may be counting backwards from 10. It may be doing 7 deep breaths. But you take a beat, and then you process, and this is what I started to do separately from that, is I process in my mind the whole scenario before acting on it. So I say, okay, if I say this, how will it make my wife feel? How will it make my wife feel? How will it make my son feel? How will it make my sister feel? Whoever it is I'm dealing with. How would it make my staff, my consultant, whoever I'm working with? How would it make him or her feel if I say this? So now I'm processing everything about this interaction. So how is this gonna play out? And now in doing this, I'm able to see, because typically our brain has already had some experience in this area. We've already gone through times to where we've said something or done something, and we've been able to see the outcome from saying that or doing that. So with that being the case, I'm able to pull from that data. I could pull from that data, and I could say, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen if I say this. And then I process the feeling. I process the feeling from the last time that I said that, or that I did that. And then I remember, okay, that's how that felt. That's how I made this person feel. This was the fallout from that. Do I want that to happen again? Naturally, the answer is no. So being that I don't want it to happen again, I say, okay, well, let me change this and let me not say this, or let me say this over here instead. So now you're able to see the outcome before it happens, process it, and make the change. And this is how you start your process of emotional regulation. Now, what we're going to do in the Growth Club, we're going to go through different scenarios, whether it's your mom, your sibling, your spouse, whoever. We'll dive a little deeper. But I want you to start thinking about that emotional regulation. And one of my goals for this here YouTube is this going to be, if you can't afford the Growth Club, or you can't afford one-on-one life coaching, you'll be able to come to this channel. And my goal is to have a 10 to 15 minute life lesson that you can expound upon, and understand that it won't be all inclusive. It won't be every single step, every single detail. That'll be your personal work, where you take and you expound upon it and you do a little more work with it. But for me to have a 10 to 15 minute video about every 4 hours going out on this YouTube, to where get you a notebook, and you can have you a notebook of wisdom. Have you a notebook with all of these different tips, to where right from this YouTube, we ain't just talking about celebrity gossip and all of that. We talking about real life stuff. And you can have this right there in a notepad, changing your life one step at a time. So as I'm being reminded of this little stuff that I've done to change my life, I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to remind you, and want you to be able to go ahead and do that, jump on that and make that happen. So, hey, remember today, if you want to get in the one class, that's just the one virtual seminar, that is called This Is My Year. Rewind this if you forget the name. Just rewind it. People be emailing it, Tony, what is that you said in the video? Just rewind it. This Is My Year. That's one virtual class. And then the Growth Club, that's a full year group coaching program where we go on Zoom once a month and we have a life coaching lesson and Q&A. So join me on there. The coupon code is BLESSED. It'll give you 50% off. It's Tony Gaskins. God bless you. And Blessed Tribe, you'll see the interview with my business partner coming up to help you out in this next tax season, coming soon. Take care.